Underwear, there you put your pants, then you put your shirt.
And if you have
exactly. Now, toothpaste, for example, can you take a bath and wash your teeth at the same time? You can do it. Can you think of another event that can happen at the same time? Okay, it's not safe, but yes, taking while driving, it's not safe, but okay. That's a parallel. Another parallel. Speaking okay. Okay, watch TV while you become going over. Okay. Yes.
Writing and talking.
Exactly. Two things happening at the same time. Okay. So that's what you're going to say. Parallel. Again, parallel. That is two things happening at the same time. Okay. Thank you. Okay, let's move on.
The next concept in computer programming is called iteration. Iteration is something that repeats. It happens again and again. You guys have used all of these concepts already in your programming class. We're just reviewing the concepts you've already been using. One example of iteration is breathing. You breathe again and again and again. What is another example of iteration?
What is another example of iteration? Something that repeats and repeats and repeats and repeats and repeats. Okay, it's like a cycle. You start, you have your steps, and you have 20 steps, and then you start again. The next day, you have each step, and again. Shower, bath, okay, taking a bath, is that something that repeats every day? Okay, eating, you, chew, and you, something that repeats, for example, the moon phases. You start with the moon, you go back, and repeat again, okay. Days, exactly. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday. Okay, let's move on.
Great. The third concept in computer programming are called conditional statements. And this is when one event happens, then another event happens. So, for example, if there's candy on the plate, you're going to keep eating. However, if there's no candy on the plate, then you have to ask more. So, conditional statements are like if one thing, then another thing. Can you think of another example of a conditional statement in the real world?
If something happens after that. When you think of an example like that, what is going to happen? If you drive like that, if you study, you learn, or you pass an exam, or something that happens that makes something else happen.
If you do something bad, do something.
You will get something. Okay? Actions and consequences. Good, that's a good example. Okay, let's move on.
Another program is called variable.
Variable.
A variable is something that changes.
Something that changes.
For example, the score in a game changes as the game progresses. So the score is a variable. What else is a variable in the real world?
What else? Where can we find another variable besides game? But that's not a variable. Something that changes. Something that can change.
How about the sun and the moon?
How about the sun and moon? How about the weather? Ah, okay.
Because the elemento global, some days are cold, are really hot, and the other days.
So exactly, weather can be variable, right? In a certain way. Okay.
How about in a clock? What are the variables in a
What
clock?
are the variables in a clock?
The time,
What?
the minute,
Hours, minutes, and seconds. Variables in a clock. Okay, let's move on.
And the last concept,
The last,
concept that you use in computer programming, which is very much like your brain work, is called messaging. And messaging is when you want to send a message to someone else that you're in trouble, or you need help, or you're hungry. So, for example, when you're hungry, you call the pizza shop. That's sending a message from one part of your program to another part. And in Scratch, we call that broadcasting. I know you've already used broadcasting. What's another example of sending a message?
other things to do something.
when you
Okay, how fast can you go in a car and people have to drive like that? Okay, that's the message. You can see that you send to people. Okay?
when are you playing and you to go to the bathroom?
Wait, what?
That's good.
Well,
Well,
Okay, yes, okay. So, children, you have done these concepts before in your Scratch program. Okay? As the same, you have not worked to done. Okay, done.
so let's take 10 minutes and open up your PowerPoint lab book,
10 minutes.
start a new page, and add these 5 programs to the lab book.
Okay? So, you've got 10 minutes to write the 5 program structures in your notebook. Create a new slide and copy the program So you can copy it.
Liliana?
Yes.
What if we do this? There's 3 people on each team. What if we ask one person from each team to come up to the camera and explain what each one of these 5 programming structures does?
Okay.
And give an example. We'll select one member from each team to just come up to the camera and explain to Julia and I what these program primitives do.
Okay. So then, just something for 5 people who want to come. I say at each one of these. Okay, to the camera.
This,
To the camera. And explain to Alexia. Alexia wants to know. Yes. Choose one of these things.
the price.
in your own words, each of you take a turn to explain what these program structures are. And say your name before you talk. I know who you are.
Say your name before you talk.
I am Emiliano.
Ana Regina. Now.
Hi.
Now.
Inspiration to
Something that.
repeat.
Give me an example. An example we use that. The Hayas, for example. Exactly. Okay, thank you. Now, which one are you going to explain?
What's iteration?
What did you get them?
What is iteration? John is asking, what is iteration?
Iteration is that repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat.
For example, what's an example of iteration?
Days or a clock.
A clock does something again and again and again. Right. Very good. Your name is Pablo?
Raúl.
Raúl. Okay, Raúl. Very good.
Thank you. The third one. Who wants to explain another one? No. Okay, Rene, variable.
Like, the variables are when the things change and you can
Anything that changes, right?
when the weather change.
Uh-huh. For example, what's another example of variables, right?
Another example, when the things that you do, the things that you do.
Okay. What you're doing is a variable. Eating, or you could be.
When you run and then you sit down and then you go to do another thing.
Okay, a variable is something that changes, like the score in a game, or the temperature, or the time on a clock. Very good. Okay, thank you.